Good morning, Bucknutters, and welcome into the Bucknuts Morning 5 on Friday, March 20th, 2015, also known as the first day of spring. I am Dave Biddle. Ohio State beat VCU 75-72 in overtime yesterday in the NCAA Tournament on the strength of 28 points from freshman sensation D'Angelo Russell. The Buckeyes trailed by 12 points in the first half, and digging themselves an early hole has been a staple of their season, but they crawled back and trailed by just 1 point at halftime. Then in the second half, Ohio State came out on fire and took a 6-point lead, but the game went back and forth from there and eventually went into the extra session. How about the performance from Ohio State freshman forward Keita Bates-Diop, who drained a pair of key three-pointers late in the game? The first came with Ohio State trailing 60-59 late in regulation. He gave them a 2-point lead with that shot. The second came in overtime to snap a 68-68 tie. The Buckeyes never relinquished the lead after Bates-Diop's second three. Now, those are two shots we're going to be talking about for the remainder of his career. Absolutely huge shots. They don't win the game without those shots. This young man has a bright future and deserves more playing time right now, in my opinion. He has a smooth-looking stroke, he's willing to fight for rebounds, and he can even block shots. He also looks taller than his listed 6'7", perhaps due to his extremely long arms. As for Russell, the player that was projected to be a top 3 overall NBA draft pick, sure looked like it last night. VCU is a good defensive team, and he just torched them. He was breaking ankles with his slick ball handling, and his shot was on point for most of the game as well. Russell finished 10 of 20 from the floor, including 4 of 7 from three-point range. He plays with so much poise and confidence, but he's not a cocky jerk on the floor. For everything that has been disappointing about this season, I think fans need to take a step back and smell the roses when it comes to Russell. Ohio State fans are watching one of the best players to ever come through the program, and I don't think that's overstating it one bit. He might only have one game left in his career, so enjoy it while you can. Before we get to that next game, I want to talk about Shannon Scott real quick. He continues to be an enigma, even with his college career nearly over. Scott was killing the Buckeyes yesterday by taking bad perimeter shots. He's a 28% three-point shooter. He was 0 for 3 from three-point range against VCU, including one on a fast break attempt. He even had another deep shot where his foot was on the three-point line where he missed. Why does a guy that shoots such a low percentage have the green light to launch from the perimeter anytime he feels like it? Shannon Scott is not a good perimeter shooter. This is not an opinion, it's a fact. 4 years' worth of stats qualify as facts. But as soon as you start calling for Scott to be benched, he does something like dish out a game-high 10 assists like he did last night against the Rams. And with VCU's aggressive defensive style, it was good to have a guard out there like Scott that could break the press and distribute. Russell's also good at breaking the press, and having both of them out there enabled the Buckeyes to break the press in most cases. If Shannon Scott would just stop taking ill-advised perimeter shots, he could be an asset. But this far along in his career, I think that ship has sailed. It's not like he's going to suddenly stop shooting now. But besides the threes, I thought Scott played very well. So did the much-maligned Amir Williams, who finished with 13 points. It's all about survive and advance in the NCAA Tournament, and that's exactly what the Buckeyes did. And now for the main event. 10th-seeded Ohio State will play 2nd-seeded Arizona on Saturday in Portland at 5:15 Eastern Time, and the game will be televised by CBS. The Wildcats are 32-3 this season, and they are favored by 9 points over the Buckeyes. Now, Ohio State beat Arizona in the Sweet 16 2 years ago, but that was a better Ohio State team, and that was a worse Arizona team. This year's version of the Wildcats are one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country in my estimation, and they were my pick entering the tournament to win the West region and advance to the Final Four. But thanks to D'Angelo Russell, the Buckeyes have a puncher's chance on Saturday. The big problem I foresee is that Arizona is tough inside. They have a lot of good big guys, and that will not bode well for Amir Williams and the rest of Ohio State's bigs like Trey McDonald. VCU is an undersized team. Arizona is the opposite of that. They are an oversized squad with athletic ability and shooting ability to match. This will be an extremely difficult game for Ohio State to win, but Thad Matta's crew is now playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. Hopefully it will be an entertaining game, and of course there's the sidebar of old friends going toe-to-toe with Matta against his former assistant at Xavier, Sean Miller. Speaking of Xavier, the winner of Ohio State versus Arizona will play the winner of 6th-seeded Xavier and 14th-seeded Georgia State next Thursday in the Sweet 16. Georgia State upset 3rd-seeded Baylor yesterday. On the football recruiting front, Bill Kurelich's tidbits, rumors, and other items of interest is on the site right now for subscribers. Theo Lacusa from Traverse City, Michigan is a 3-star offensive tackle who Ohio State has offered, and he says Ohio State is recruiting him very hard. The 6'5", 300-pound Lacusa is the number 35 offensive tackle in the country, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. Lacusa says the Buckeyes are one of the top programs on his list, which also includes Georgia, Michigan, Michigan State, Nebraska, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. Interestingly, Lacusa says Michigan is not recruiting him very much at all right now. Check out more about this fast-rising prospect in Bill's column. Bill also has the latest on a player I know a lot of fans are wondering about, he being 4-star recruit Damar Hamlin from Pittsburgh, who is ranked as the number 12 corner in the nation and the number 139 overall prospect per the 24/7 Sports Composite. Hamlin is not sure if he will attend Ohio State's spring game on April 18th, but the good news is that he is definitely going to make a visit to Ohio State before that, and he's going to bring along his mother, his father, and possibly his brother when he makes the trip to Columbus. It's always a good sign when recruits bring their entire family along on visits with them. It shows they have serious interest in that program. Names like Von Bell and Raekwon McMillan immediately come to mind. A lot of people feel this is a battle between Ohio State and Penn State for Hamlin's services, and the Nittany Lions have 62% of the crystal ball votes. The Buckeyes have 31%, and Notre Dame checks in at 7%. Bill has other items on recruiting in his column, so make sure you check that out if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, try our buy 1 month, get 2 months free offer while it still lasts. For those not aware, Ohio State's football team is off this week for spring break. They will be back on the practice field on Tuesday, and we will interview head coach Urban Meyer after practice around 11 a.m. Thanks for listening to this show. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take it away, best damn band in the land.